The college football experience, Nevada Wolfpack 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their brand new Pick 8. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. Yes, they do have college football action. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Experience. Wolfpack style, not that pussy pack in Raleigh. The real Wolfpack in Reno, Nevada. The Nevada Wolfpack 2024 season preview episode. Excited to talk Nevada football. I think if you're a Nevada fan, you're very excited about the coming season and the potential that lies ahead. Maybe not necessarily this specific year, but I think you're excited to see. Just how things are under year one of Jeff Choate. I thought it was Choate. I believe it's Choate. But yeah, anyway, folks, youtube.com/the college experience. Get on over there, hit that like and subscribe button. We're breaking down all 134 college football teams with the solo podcast for each and every team in the land. 1 hour dedicated to everybody. All right. And we've been doing this for years, but just not 134. This year it's 134 because Kennesaw State is an FBS team. Looking forward to talking about the Owls down there in Kennesaw, Georgia. But if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
You know, someone once in Reno sounded like that I picture back in the 1800s in a game of poker. You know what I mean? Sounded like that. You're going to pay for it, buddy. Good night.
Boom.
Excited for Nevada Wolfpack. And I've been to the great city of Reno. Just encouraging you before we went live.
Yeah, haven't been there yet, but it does seem like a interesting little town they got going on up there. A lot of history.
Oh yeah, get on over to Reno and have a good time. All right, I like these slept-on little cities. All right. Yeah. Shout out to James S. He goes, on a Saturday night, I'm sipping on some Sapporos. It's all about the money, baby. Let's go. I'm Jamaica, man. The red stripe. I'm actually.
There you go. You're getting all corners of the map. I got Guinness going. So what do we got? Jamaicans, Japanese, and Irish. It's an international.
Kentucky. And
Kentucky. Can't leave Kentucky out.
Let's go. And just all across the world. So, that's what we're doing. It's like the transfer portal. And I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi, well,
let's get it going. I like McKay Stadium there, Reno, Nevada. We were talking about that stadium on the Stadium Heads episode. Subscribe.
Nice. How long have they been playing there?
Oh, man, like since the 60s. Charles Mann's been playing on that field for a long time, all right? Colin Kaepernick, Mike Maxwell, Alex Van Dyke. They've had guys left and right. I love me some Nevada. Look, Chris Ault, inventor of the pistol offense. And I think I remember telling you this. I remember I was somewhere, all people like, if you're a first time listener, myself and Patty C pretty much just study football our whole life. We have like a life dedicated to football and basketball, essentially, I would say. But I don't know where the fuck I was
watching plenty of it, deep dives here and there.
Yeah. I'm sitting there. I don't know where I was. I was like reading an article on Joe Gibbs. And they were talking, and he apparently copied a lot of something from Chris Ault at some point, which is crazy because Chris Ault was much younger than him. I mean, not much younger, but a little bit younger. But he got at the time, Nevada was like FCS or what they called it, 1AA. And he was saying like, yeah, I got all this stuff from Chris Ault, who was so he went and studied Chris Ault. So the college game is always inspiring the pro game.
Well, yes, that's true. And if you didn't notice, Joe Gibbs had a little run of success there. What do you have? 4 Super Bowl appearances in 9 or 10 years, 9 years, I think. Won 3 of them. Yeah, maybe Chris Ault more of a revolutionary than he gets credit for.
Probably. Folks, look, we're going to talk all about that. But I want to tell you right now, you're listening to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and the College Football Experience. Yes. It's the countdown to football season is already going. All right. It's on. And the College Football Experience, which is this very show, is doing individual team previews for every single team. But also we have SGPN's 5-minute fantasy football, which I highly recommend. That's your quick and dirty podcast, getting you prepped for all things fantasy. So check out both on the SGPN network. All right, we are back. And let's talk about things. Nevada football history. And a shout out to Damani. He says, tuning in hammered in Williamsburg. There we go.
Woo!
I like that.
Williamsburg, where are we thinking? New York?
No, Virginia, because, well, maybe. I don't know. He's a Vanderbilt grad, right? Is there a Williamsburg, Tennessee? There might be a Williamsburg, Tennessee.
Probably a lot of Williamsburgs out there.
Or it could be New York City. Yeah. Hopefully not. But as a guy that's done stand up in Williamsburg somewhat recently.
Isn't Williamsburg supposed to be like a highbrow kind of like poet society kind of deal?
Oh, it's
times have changed.
It's boiled over. It's boiled over because maybe it's changed. I don't know. I haven't been back in a few years, but I can tell you, doing a joke that was actually like a true moment in my life. They just they
felt fear.
It was just I had just done this like 100 times across the United States, so I was like, I know this works, and it was a pro Trump joke in a way, right?
Yeah,
like it was like one of these things of like, hey, this happened to me, so I was like, and they just. But it really is a situation I think any human being should think about. I'm not going to tell the fucking joke on air here, but I'm saying like, I know it works. And it was like, you're afraid to fucking laugh right now.
And yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Damani, what is Damani saying? He's in New York,
Oh, New York. There we
go. Shout out to JMU. Byington we trust, even though he's gone. But yeah, I mean, I guess he's a Vandy guy. So there you go. We have that brotherhood, Byington brotherhood. And
Damani, look, I like New York. I love New York City. Just I had a couple bad experiences with trying out that stuff. But anyway, shout out to that. And let's talk a little bit about this Nevada. Where are you at with the Nevada program? Because this is a program that had some monster years. If you go back to 2010, Patty C, if there was a 12-team playoff then. You know who was number 11 in the nation was the Nevada Wolfpack, 13-1. Wow. 13-1 that year, including that epic winner against Boise. That game was insane. I would say that's one of the that was one of the best games I can recall in the past 15 years. Yeah, that was phenomenal. Yeah, that poor kicker. Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah. The money's cracking me up. Where are you at with the program? You think it's I think it's kind of a sleeper, and I think I like this hire. Jeff Choate coming in. He was the guy who kind of built up Montana State to get it back where it was supposed to be. Normally Prior to that, it was all Grizz in the state of Montana, and he got them going. He left for Texas, which was controversial. He was a head coach at Montana State. They're like, hey, come here, be a co-DC or whatever at Texas. And he leaves. And now he's the head coach at Nevada. So I guess he moved.
I think it was, it resulted in a positive, career outcome, from I guess a responsibility standpoint. Montana head coach, Texas defensive coordinator, Nevada head coach. You go from FCS to FBS coaching or head coach in a 3 or 4 year period. I think that's moving up.
Yeah. Yeah. Neckbone says, do you guys have a Colorado versus Colorado State prediction? Yes. Go listen to the Colorado State preview. It's out there. It's available. We are previewing every single team. So Nevada's a program though. Ault had this thing going. I was looking at this right before we went live. So they jumped up. They came back, I think, or jumped up at 92, right?
Yeah.
92. They had how many? So Chris Ault in general, or just this program, had what? 1, 2, 3. Let me just count this here. 4, 5. Am I counting 6 9-win seasons or better?
Since they've
since they came started? Up. Yeah, since 92.
Yeah,
right?
I mean a lot of
Chris Ault. All of that was Chris Ault.
Early on, yeah, that's true.
He left for a little bit, then came back, but Jeff Tisdale got one of them. But
which isn't to say Jay Norvell didn't have some pretty darn good years, including COVID, 7-2.
Yeah.
If that trend continued, that would have been a 9-win year for Norvell. But
that's true. And that definitely would have been. That was a really good team. And so the program, obviously Ken Wilson and shout out to Ken Wilson, former Mike Leach guy. I got the chance at Mountain West Media Day to sit down with Ken Wilson last year. Hell of a good guy, and I'm wishing him the best. But things just weren't working out. They were 4-20, and now they turned to Jeff Choate, and I think you're going from one Leach guy to another. But I'm excited about this hire. Let's look at this coaching tree. Look at this fine artwork that goddamn Picasso Dundee is putting together. This is a guy that was 28-22 at Montana State, but if you understand, he built up Montana State. So that record, to me, had he stayed there, would have just kept rolling up because the first 2 years were the hard part.
Yeah. And now they're a mainstay, Montana State, in the
exactly.
FCS playoffs.
He was with Chris Peterson at Boise State. Actually, he was on the reverse part of that side. No, in 13. No, but for a lot of their big time matchups, he was on the other side of the sidelines. He was at Boise, and he was also at
Boise
and Washington,
2006 to 2011, Wazoo 2012, Florida 2013, Washington 2014 and 15, and then Montana State,
and then Texas. Yeah.
So
that's a coaching tree. And Utah State back in the day before Chris Peterson.
It is interesting. I don't know if Texas has a thing for these Northwestern coaches, but between Harsin and Choate, they're willing to go up into that.
Texas for Harsin? What do you mean? Sarkisian, you mean?
Wait, who? No, why am I? Maybe that's Auburn.
Boise? You talking Boise?
Yeah, no, Harsin was the OC at Texas for a while there, right?
Oh, he was. You're right. He was. Yeah.
So they're willing to. They're willing to go into that Northwest territory, do some, who are those two explorers that went up there?
Smith and Wesson.
No, of course.
Yeah. No, Lois and Clark.
Laurel and Hardy. I don't know.
Yeah. Lois and Clark is what you're looking for. What do you think of that Nevada symbol, by the way? I think it's a fire ass symbol. With that
that's dope. Is that a pretty new logo for them?
No, they've had that for a minute, man.
Dude,
they've had that for a minute. Yeah, they got to utilize that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we like the hire. Here. You think it's a good hire? I think it is. He's already been a head coach. Ken Wilson had not been a head coach. I think this fits.
Yeah, and the track record fits, and especially when you talk about him being the co-defensive coordinator and the inside linebackers coach, that suggests that he was responsible for the interior of that Texas defense, which was its strength. And that was an excellent defensive front they had. So if he can bring that, which, like you said, his track record already shows that he's a winner. If you can instill that kind of interior toughness in your defense, then you have a pretty good foundation for a good team right there.
Yeah, I like the hire. I think it makes sense. We're going to talk about the offense, the defense, special teams, all that good stuff. But right now, I want to tell you folks out there that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8's now live. Create entries with up to 8 picks. An Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount you enter. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. Don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. So hop on over there, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Once again, TCE SGPN. Yes, they have college football. I'm hitting big on the CFL all the time with them. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back, ready to talk. How about this program?
By the way, I'm calling Lewis and Clark for for the rest of the time. Jeez. How about this program? How about these wins?
Who's Lewis and Clark?
I think that's yeah.
No, I don't buy into that. No, but these wins. Look, this is a big game pack here, man. They've had some big wins. Since, and I didn't go through the 90s. This is really just the past 20 years. Wins against BYU, multiple wins against BYU. Took down UCF in a bowl game. Took down Northwestern, Purdue, Cal, Boston College, Washington State, Oregon State, SMU. Now, at one point, losses in Lubbock and Coral Gables. That is 1 point losses, but it's a better program than I think people think historically.
Yeah, I mean. What was that? 2010. We said that year stood out so much that that kind of put them in my mind as a legitimate program. But you're right. The years preceding under Ault and Norvell, even Polian, this is a good program. That they are capable. I mean, but what is the ceiling for this program? I mean, that kind of was.
You got the 12-team playoff now.
Yeah,
you win the Mountain West.
Yeah, are they like in a disadvantage in any way, like recruiting or from a resources standpoint, or
well, probably from a resources, but I don't know that to be accurate. I'm just saying, like, to me, I think from a recruiting, you have a little bit of an edge because Reno basically is in Lake Tahoe. You're very close to Lake Tahoe, which is the border of California and Nevada.
Although that doesn't strike me necessarily as a talent-rich,
I'm just saying, like California, like if Fresno gets all those guys. Why can't Nevada?
Yeah, depending on population, I would have to do a deep dive into that. But
summers in Tahoe with all the scattered ass going around,
you got a nice recruiting pitch there. But I don't think there's
come check out scattered ass in Reno, aka Lake Tahoe, is only 40 minutes away.
Either way, I think they should be able to pull. I don't think they're at a disadvantage compared to pretty much any team in the Mountain West, save for San Diego State has probably a lot of talent sitting in their backyard. Look, yeah, if they come up, Ault has already shown what the ceiling for this team is, and like you said, an 11 finish in the AP postseason poll, that's a playoff team. Yeah. It can be done.
Yeah, and I think Daniel's misunderstanding. He's like, bro, 12-team playoff, nine of those 12 will be SEC Big Ten, probably, but there's one that is guaranteed to the group of 5. Yeah. And you don't have to look that far back. And Nevada finishing number 11 in the nation within the past, what year was that? I thought it was 13. Was it 10?
2010. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. 13 college football seasons ago, Nevada would have been in the playoffs if we had this.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have needed even to have won the conference. They would have been in on just like at-large placement alone.
Yeah, it's true.
They're freaking awesome.
It's true. So that's what we're talking about though, is that, offensively, they were horrible last year. They got a long way to climb. I mean, look, Ken Wilson, his tenure's over. That now I am intrigued about what's my guy's name they brought in? Lubbock, right?
Yeah. Who is it? Matt Lubbock from Kansas with Lance Leipold. I've been cashing checks with Lance Leipold since he went to Buffalo. I'm sitting over there every year, just take the over.
I'm intrigued. I like the hire. They're going out and getting creative. Excited to see this offense. Last year, though, they were horrible, and they were 124th in the nation in scoring points per game, 17.3 points per game, 12th. That's dead last. There's only 12 Mountain West teams, folks. 124th in yards, dead last in the Mountain West. 111th in passing, 9th in the Mountain West, 98th in rushing. They were balanced. 9th in the Mountain West. But
what was Ken Wilson's specialty? Wasn't he? I feel like he was.
He was a special teams coach, I believe, right? No, he was linebackers coach, I think, of Wazoo.
Okay,
so
yeah, the offense sputtering under his supervision isn't necessarily his fault. Give Ken Wilson a break here.
Yeah, and Daniel says reserved for the Sun Belt or AAC. Mountain West is by far the best conference left.
But JMU is by far the best team.
Woo!
So, hello.
I don't know if they've had a 13-1 season in the FBS, have they?
Should have had one last year, but half the team left when our coach left. So anyway, excuses are like assholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. So okay.
Yeah. Look, and I know James is asking about that SMU spread, which I think it's available and out there. Maybe I should check out that when I read an ad. But they have 5 starters returning, and Brendon Lewis used to play quarterback for Colorado. This dude has started a shit ton of games in his life. Now, he was never great to me.
But he was a big recruit at Colorado, right?
I feel like he was I don't want to say like a big recruit, but at the time, they were happy. Like, I think it was still a 3-star, but they beat out somebody that wanted him. I feel like it was like, I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, I know that obviously like Colorado was excited that they weren't starting a defensive back at quarterback.
Yeah, the year
so
before.
Maybe that was it.
That's probably what it was taking a defensive back away. But to be honest with you, no disrespect to Brendon Lewis, the defensive back was way better.
He's coaching. Who is the defensive back that started for Colorado?
Oh man, you're killing me right now. He was way better. He was way better though. Like as far as because Brendon Lewis came in as a freshman. To be fair, the other guy was a senior, but the other guy was a fucking gamer. Why am I drawing a blank on his name right now? I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Go to the 2020 season and look at their passing numbers.
Let me. Oh man, it's too much. I'll pull it up later.
Anyway, running back Sean Dollars is back, but it's a crowded backfield. As much as I like Sean Dollars, I don't know if he's going to be starting this year. 3 offensive linemen back: Isaiah World, love that name. Center Andrew Madrigal, and right tackle Josiah Timoteo. Love that name. They're back. Got some pieces. I'll say this, man. I'd be willing to go out on a limb and say Brendon Lewis has got to be the quarterback in the Mountain West with the most starts in his career, if I had to bet.
Okay.
He's got to have like 40 fucking starts by now.
So Sean Dollars is back. Yeah, he is back. That's right. But he has some serious competition, which I guess.
I don't think he's going to start. But yeah, at least you have depth.
Sean Dollars was good for how many yards last year? I got to get. I'm all late here. 527 yards, 6 touchdowns, 18 receptions. So solid contributor to the top rusher on the team. It's nice to get that back, but you would like to see more production out of your running back. Brendon Lewis was their second leading rusher.
They were going full air raid, but yeah. Well, they lost some guys in the portal. I wanted them to keep Shane Illingworth, but I'll be honest, because he was the Oklahoma State transfer that came in there. He's in the portal. I'm sure he's going to land somewhere because he's decent. But if they're running anything like a Lance Leipold system, Illingworth, he's a statue. That's fucking Mark Rippon. You know what I mean? Like, but he can throw. He can throw. So okay, he hits the portal. That's a little bit of a hit as far as quarterback depth. Connor Noah at the running back spot. Badalato Birdsell. Badalato. Look, but they lost some SEC talent, came in and swiped Dalvin Campbell going to South Carolina, Darian Wiley to Vanderbilt. That's why Damani's in here, is that he wants to hear about this Vandy kid. And then Jamal Bell going to Baylor. So the receivers running that air raid. Look, they were ass last year, but the receivers were clearly decent because all the Power 5 said, "Hey, I want him, and him."
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. This Lubbock guy, Matt Lubbock, the offensive coordinator, who had, like you said, came from Kansas 2 years as a senior analyst, spent time, though, at Oregon and Washington before. Do we know what he's going to run? Oregon and Washington, that suggests that they're going to keep throwing the ball around, right? But maybe spread it around. I mean, Oregon's been running.
No, but Peterson wasn't like a pass first coach. Peterson was balanced.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe we expect a little more balance out of this offense.
But I don't know. I can tell you this: if he's doing the Leipold shit, then you're expecting your quarterbacks to run. That's why Leipold's like it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel
that's
like
good though. Because Brendon Lewis was
Well, I wouldn't describe him as a running quarterback, but he is a little more agile than statue. Yeah.
If you are a positive 495 rushing yards, I mean, I have seen some seriously athletic quarterbacks whose rushing numbers are, strikingly low. So I think if you're going to be a 500-yard rushing quarterback, you have to be a good runner. I could be wrong. It could be by design, but that just doesn't happen by accident.
I'm just telling you, like when I think of Kansas and Jason Bean and Jalen Daniels, he's nothing like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Although those are both elite running quarterbacks.
But they're the only two that Leipold's had at Kansas.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, if he's the guy that's responsible for putting those guys helping those guys put up those rushing numbers, then that's good for Brendon Lewis, and you should expect Brendon Lewis to continue with his, rushing success. But you're right; those guys are. I mean, Jason Bean runs like a 4.40, right? He's like a track star.
Yeah.
Brendon Lewis isn't that. Sam Neuer, that was, I believe, the guy in Colorado.
That was man. Sam Neuer. He switched over from safety to quarterback and actually balled out
and beat out Brendon Lewis.
Balled out, man. But Lewis was a freshman to his credit. But
yeah,
folks, we're gonna take a deeper dive on that offense, talk about the portal and everything. But want to tell you that the Nevada Wolfpack 2024 season preview is brought to you by Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights. Empowering bettors with smarter data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. So hop on over there. Check out Rhythm. You get a free 7-day trial period today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're back talking Nevada Wolfpack football, and shout out to the chat, Daquan the Great, and he is great. All right, this is a guy I've known Daquan for a minute now. Hell of a good guy. And how do you guys decide what team you're doing next? Well, we're going conference by conference. Occasionally, if I have an interview set up, then I'll bump a team from an alphabetical standpoint. But normally, it's alphabetical within the conference. Like next up after Nevada will be New Mexico. And then San Jose State, I believe. Yeah, San Jose State Monday afternoon is scheduled. Then San Diego State Tuesday we're aiming for. So yeah, did Hawaii?
And we are
what's that?
Front loading the slate by conference quality. So that should give you an indicator of what teams you should anticipate or what conferences you should anticipate getting previewed first.
The whole entire SEC is already out. So go listen to the SEC. I think that's the top conference in college football. I think Nevada is the top group of 5 conference, but I think
not Nevada.
Not Nevada. The Mountain West by a substantial amount though.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about this with SMU, Houston, UCF, Cincinnati. Am I forgetting someone? I think that's everybody that's gone
from the American.
And I'm an ECU fan to say this. Mountain West is way, way, way better than the AAC.
Yes.
Like, it's not even close anymore. Before you would argue it. Now it's like, oh no, it's way better.
It's substantially better than the Sun Belt. I hate to say that, but it is true.
Yeah.
It's clearly the second best. I mean, the top Group of 5 conference. There have been years even before, these. Actually, now it's probably since all the Power 4 teams are bulked up, or Power 4 conferences are bulked up. I don't know that the Mountain West is going to have a better year than like the ACC. But a few years ago, the Mountain West was better than the ACC, like unquestionably. So, it's clearly been a great power or Group of 5 conference, and now it has that all to itself.
Yeah, and Daniel says getting Oregon State and Washington State is also huge. Now they're not officially in, but they're all playing them. They have this deal with them. I do think that will be something we'll see. They're going to be officially in soon, I think. Whether it's the Pac West, whatever they call it, I think that's going to happen. But I think the conference is very deep, and I think the coaching hires they just added with Jeff Choate at Nevada, with Bronco Mendenhall at New Mexico, with Sean Lewis at San Diego State, and with Ken Niumatalolo at San Jose State. And Spencer Danielson looked pretty good with his short tenure as a Boise State head coach. He was retained. Also, Jay Salvell at Wyoming. But I think those are home run hires for the most part.
Some of them are solid and offer continuity.
Danielson's the question mark to me. Like Salvell, maybe a little bit like, okay, but he's familiar with the team. And what stands out to you about Wyoming the past few years? It's not the offense, it's the defense.
Yeah,
right?
And he's the DC.
So, but the other ones,
Sean Lewis,
that's an absolute grand slam to me.
He was taking over for, was it Hoke, or had Hoke already been gone?
Yeah, no, he's taking over for Hoke.
Well, that's a massive upgrade right there. And no disrespect to Hoke. Hoke's a fine coach, but
that's a grand slam to me. I don't. Yeah. Here's the downside of that is I don't think he's going to be there that long.
Yeah, probably not.
Because I think a Big 10 school or a Big 12 school or a SEC school is going to say, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
But it's a grand slam in the meantime. And I think Choate is a really good hire.
I mean, look, if you're a Group of 5 team, like, you have to understand that's part of the game. But if you develop like an elite eye for upcoming talented coaches, and you are able to bring them in, you can be as successful as a Power 5 team over the course of time if you're just really good about doing that. Sometimes these Power 5 conferences, they get this country club environment where they get too comfortable, and it's almost a blessing to have to reinvent yourself every couple of years if you're good at it.
Yeah. Going back to I like the Choate hire though, and I think the Mountain West is by far the top Group of 5 conference. But going back to, so they did get hit in the portal though at wide receivers. So okay.
Going away from the air raid probably sent a lot of these guys packing.
Yeah, or just SEC money.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, you want to play football for $1 million, or do you want to keep playing for 30 grand at Nevada?
If that.
Yeah. But they were so active in the portal. It's encouraging, man. I think if you're a Nevada fan, and once again, folks, I have these graphics, youtube.com/the college experience. They went out and they brought in Chubba Purdy, the brother of Brock Purdy. It's not a far drive from San Francisco to Reno. All right. I mean, this guy was a big recruit. Now, he was originally a recruit to Florida State, transferred to Nebraska. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. But I can tell you this. For Nevada to get Chubba Purdy, or Chubba Purdy, however you pronounce that. I like Chubba personally.
Yeah, Chubba's. I think with a double B, you give it Chubba.
That's a great get. And then the Texas running backs. Hey, you might have heard of every good running back ever being from Texas. Thank you, sweetie. I needed a beer delivery. Earl Campbell. Yeah. Might have heard of him. Eric Metcalf might have heard of him. Ricky Williams, Priest Holmes, might have heard of them. So getting Kai Woods and Savion Red from Texas. There's also guys like Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Brooks and stuff that are
a couple.
Yeah. I think that's a huge get. I never seen these guys play. I think Red played a little bit, but I'm saying okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm
Red
on board.
Had 30 carries, 131 yards. So 4.4 yards per rush. Not, lights out, but like you mentioned, if you're a Texas running back, you're probably pretty good. You don't even get on that roster unless you're pretty damn good.
And then they bring in Destin Hawkins from Syracuse. I have no idea what to expect of him, but I know this.
He just ran down on kickoffs, it looks like.
running back Patrick Garwo, the third from BC, was their starting running back last year.
Yeah. Statistically, he has kind of regressed over a couple of years. In 2021, he was 1,000-yard back, but then 402 yards and then 270 last year. And that was, granted, an injury, only played 5 games. So kind of getting him on the cheap based on his potential.
Am I crazy or is this backfield kind of loaded? Because you still have Sean Dollars in this thing too.
That's true. You bring back your leading rusher and you bring all that other stuff back. Pretty nice. Did Choate, am I not mistaken? Did Choate? I think it's
Choate. I think it's
Choate. Yeah. He was a running back.
Not Choate.
Not Choate. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. He was a running back coach at Boise State there for a little while, so maybe he's got a little
Ian Johnson, making the calls for him and his wife.
That's true. Hello.
But receiver wise, they brought in Cortez Braham from West Virginia. Also, Darian Wiley from ULM and Nick Rempert from Tulsa. Jace Hunter coming in, grad transfer from fucking Dartmouth. And then Patty C, this next tight end from Florida. You said you wanted to pronounce his name?
What is that? Andrew Savainia.
Yeah. A Pacific Islander from, or I'm assuming from Florida comes in. But hey, going out and bringing in some big time programs there. You got Nebraska, Texas, even Q's and BC are Power 5 programs, and then West Virginia and Florida State. Also bringing in Oregon State's Dylan Lopez on the offensive line. Oregon State's offensive line was awesome the past couple of years. Also Spencer Lovell, that was a starter at Arizona State. Now he was at Kansas last year too. I think he played a little bit there, but he started at Arizona State with under Big Herm Edwards. Also bringing in, I can't believe UVA had a player named Snoop.
Yeah,
my mind just got fucking obliterated.
The admissions people, cut it off right there.
That poor bastard must have dealt with hell. All right, he must have dealt with hell. Anyway, this guy, he comes in at the offensive tackle, Snoop Leota Amama. How do I pronounce that?
Amama.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, and long snapper Luca Rodarte from Wazoo comes in. But anyway,
what I noticed about a lot of the players that he brought in offensively, at least the skill position players, statistically, they had a good season a couple years ago and then kind of had a bad season last year. So maybe I don't know, that could be an interesting approach, is see guys who have proven potential that for whatever reason fell out of the rotation in their team last year, and then boom, plug them in. We'll see how it works out for him. But
he definitely won the portal to me. I know we lost 3 receivers to the SEC and the Big 12, but bringing in those backs and Chubba Purdy and a tight end from Florida and even Jace Hunter, I don't know. I think they won the portal.
Chubba Purdy, didn't he start against who was it? Boise a few years ago in the season opener? He was I guess he never really took off. He hasn't had more than 57 attempts in a single season so far. So Chubba Purdy waiting for his breakout season. Maybe it's finally time for him to break out here.
Yeah. And shout out to Daquad. Come out to Vegas. We're there every year. Let's go. But dude, this offense, I think it'll be better than last year. You can't be worse, right?
What was it? You said they finished 125-ish somewhere?
I believe 124, I think, was where the offense settled as scoring from. Hey, I have it right here. Hang on. 124 scoring, 124 in yards too. So they're horrible. Bottom 9 offense last year. They're going to be a lot better just because you have a quarterback that's got Brendon Lewis has 1,000 reps.
It's Purdy. Almost unbelievable for an air raid team to produce that bad of statistics. The offense is designed to gain yards. It lacks the component of clock control that makes other offenses effective in winning games, and has been a long strategy. It's like you ditch that when you go to the air raid in favor of getting big yards and big points. But if you're still just not able to gain any yards, shit is going wrong.
Well, I don't get the raid man cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
Yeah, I mean, look, the offense, but that's why I feel pretty confident by saying that the offense will
got to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defensively, they were 114th in scoring per game last year, 33.4 points per game they gave up. That was actually like third worst in the Mountain West, not dead last. They were dead last though when they gave up yards. They gave up a shit ton of yards. It's amazing that they weren't dead last in scoring when you gave up 443 yards per game, pretty much. They were also dead last in passing and second to last in rushing. How the hell did the teams not score more? I'm so confused. But this defense, it's got work to do. I'll say that. And
they got lit up a bunch of times on the scoreboard.
6 starters are back. Both your nose tackle and defensive tackle Thomas White and Machiavelli Malutamu. God damn, that name is fire.
That is a dope name.
Also, how about this linebacker? Tangiaki Matalelona?
That is fucking impressive. I think you might have gotten that.
Oh man.
Or you might have butchered it.
Probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping.
Anyway,
looks like he's not opposed to going out and getting some Pacific Islanders, like which we've mentioned has been a
these
strategy.
These are returning starters, buddy.
Okay, yeah.
Drew Watts back at the linebacker spot. Kane Savage has got to be one of the fucking greatest names ever. That should be a rapper. Kane Savage at the in the defensive backfield, and same with KK Meyer. 6 starters back, but I don't know what you read into on that. But I can tell you this: at least they're experienced. They've gotten a lot of reps. Now they lost a shit ton of players in the portal, but only a couple to like substantial schools. Defensive back Richard Toney going to TCU, James Hansen on the D line going to Texas Tech. Deion Washington to Hawaii is a loss, and I think that Hawaii might even be on the schedule too. So stay within the conference. Also, Marcel Walker to Ohio. They've been great with the Bobcats back-to-back double-digit win seasons. But the rest all FCS are in the portal. So you got that, and then also Dorian Blackwell at the defensive back to the Maine Black Bears. They brought in some guys though, Patty C. Another Texas guy in the defensive backfield, Kitten Crawford. Coming in, and also, man, this is their third West Virginia player. West Virginia was a very good team last year. Bringing in 2 defensive guys, Keyshawn Cobb and Davis Mallinger in the defensive backfield. Also, on the defensive line, Caden Johnson from Wisconsin. So, I mean, they brought in a slew of guys.
That has been Neil Brown's strength at West Virginia is, high end defenses. Yeah.
I think they won the portal for sure, I would say.
I mean, it looks like the guys going out is greater than the guys coming in just from a numeric standpoint.
Of course. If you walk in and see a team of shit, no disrespect to the people last year, they're going to say, hey, please, with all due respect, I'm a brand new coach here. I don't know who the fuck you are, but you got to go. All right. I know some guy who does special teams at Austin P. Right. He's going to hook you up. Right. Something like that. I don't know, but I'm saying like bringing in, they brought in a lot of Texas talent, a lot of West Virginia talent, a big time NFL quarterback's brother. And I feel like they definitely won the portal as far as players that I think can make a difference and step right in and make this team better and more competitive. So
you would hope so. It's tough to say until it materializes on the field, but at a snapshot, they're bringing in some Texas players. That's an improvement for Nevada. Generally,
Patrick Garwo was a starter at Boston College. I know it's Boston
like 4
College.
years.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a fucking home run. Fucking get.
Yeah.
Not gonna sell me on this shit, Patty C. They won the portal. All right. Let's jump over and talk about this win total because good Lord. The over-under's at 2.5. Now, folks, I know I was very stingy on my overs within the SEC. I think if you look back on overs in the SEC, off the top of my head, I was over on what? Texas A&M, LSU, Tennessee. I think one other school, maybe two other schools, like Vandy, right? Mm-hmm. But majority of them, like literally like 11 of the 16, I was on the under, right? The Mountain West starts. I'm on the over on Air Force. I'm on the over on Boise. I'm on the over on Fresno. I'm on the over on Hawaii. And blindly, without looking at Nevada's schedule right now, I gotta lean over because I know they play 13 games.
That's huge.
I lean over just blindly. I say this is a 3-9 team or 4-8 team blindly. You also have a quarterback who's got a shit ton of reps.
When you look back at the history of Nevada football, they have won less than 3 games twice since they re-entered the FBS in 1992, and those were over the past 2 years. Okay, so this team is used to winning at least 3 games, and they have a coach that was part of a almost national championship, run last year. Yeah, I think it's fine, especially with that 13th game. You should expect them to hit 3. But with a peek at this schedule, it's tough. It ain't an easy schedule.
Let's jump to it because week 0, the SMU Mustangs. Holy shit. You see how much money they raised over the past 6 months?
Yeah. Was it like 160 million or something?
The largest amount of money from the previous year was A&M getting I think it was like 120 million, like 118, something like that. Texas A&M is
SMU.
No, but Texas A&M is like oil tycoons.
Yeah.
And I guess SMU is too, because SMU is saying, hey, we don't need your TV money, ACC. We're going to be Power 5.
That's the incredible thing. Is like they snapped their fingers and it was like, poof, $160 million.
Dude, and A&M was the highest, ahead of Ohio State, ahead of LSU, ahead of Florida.
Yeah. What does SMU have going? And what do we not know about?
Dude, I'm terrified. I don't want to know that. I guarantee you they own Epstein Island. I'm open that fucking box. But I'll tell you this. They had George Bush went to Yale, but he's the one that called on behalf of the SMU to get them to the ACC. George W. This guy. Yeah. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I like
when you have U.S. presidents calling on your behalf and making like donor phone calls
with no
it's a
connection
good
to the school, and then can you imagine if you're like Jim Phillips or whoever's in charge of the ACC and you're listening to this guy every couple of minutes?
I think. Tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Dallas thing, because George W. owns the Rangers, right?
He did own, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, he might still, I don't know, but I thought he did. Yeah,
it was probably a long time ago.
You can't run for president and own a Major League Baseball team. Is that a thing?
Probably should be. Let's be honest.
Why? I feel like you should be able to do that. Anyway, SMU is gonna fuck them up, right? Because I just imagine that you have that much money behind your program.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, SMU is leaps and bounds ahead of Nevada. And week 1 for Choate, SMU is gonna fuck them up.
Now week 2 is interesting because they're getting Troy with Gerard Parker, who I thought was an abstract hire. I did not see that hire coming.
Yeah.
Right. I have no idea what to expect for them. Maybe he's amazing, but I think this game became much more winnable with that hire.
Troy's success has been a little up and down lately, right?
After Neil Brown, they struggled with, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but, and then obviously when they got, Sumrall, they rolled again. But
at this point, I would think, especially on the road, long road trip, that's a loss too.
I would assume, but I mean, these days, we haven't previewed Tulane yet. I know Tulane, all their roster went to Houston, so I'm assuming all of Troy's rosters at Tulane's. So, just food for thought. 0-2. Then they're home to Georgia Southern and Clay Helton. This is winnable, dude.
Yeah, this is a possibility.
They're a strange team to me. They're always good, and actually, though, they're always awesome in September. So they probably lose this game too.
Yeah, I'm leaning Georgia Southern. Yeah.
0-3. Then they had to take on PJ Fleck, rowing the boat. 0-4. Damn, and they're not doing themselves any favor by scheduling FCS teams like Eastern Washington.
No, they're not.
But they're getting this one. He was at Montana State. They're rivals. He's getting this one.
Nevada is, at the end of the day, the state flagship school of the state of Nevada, which, I don't know how much they're able to get out of Las Vegas, but Las Vegas is a very high school talent rich town. So assuming they're able to keep some of that in-state and then whatever else they're doing, like we said, you should expect to win a lot of games. They have won a lot of games. So just on history alone, they're probably going to win a game like this against Eastern Washington.
And that sets us up at 1-4 for that bye week there. And that is I don't know, man. Then
this is a huge game,
dude.
Here.
This is a gigantic game for the over.
It's a nice bye. It's a nice position for the bye week. I'm curious what San Jose State has the week before. Let me double check on that.
I gotta take San Jose State though, dude.
San Jose State's coming off a bye as well, and then they're hosting Nevada. I'm going Spartans too.
I just gotta. It wouldn't shock me if Nevada won this game, but I'm just saying. Niumatalolo is a good coach too, man, and I think if anything, he's more proven than Choate.
Although we haven't seen him running the run and shoot. I mean, I know that there are principles. It seems like what did Leach say? If he wasn't going to be running the air raid, he'd be running the wishbone. Yeah. So distributing the ball, whether that be through passing or
he
running.
said Mike Leach said he modeled the air raid after the triple option.
Triple. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Ken Niumatalolo maybe a more seamless transition to the run and shoot than we realized, but still, this is a massive, massive game, especially for that over, like you said. I don't know. I'm favoring San Jose State.
You know what sucks if you're a Nevada fan is you don't have New Mexico on the schedule. Like some of these games, okay, so after San Jose State, I'm going to favor San Jose State too. I think they're 1-4.
Yeah.
Right? Or
New Mexico was one of their
1-5.
2 wins last year. Who'd they get 2 years ago? They were able to beat New Mexico State and Texas State. So I don't know if those caliber teams are on the schedule this year at all.
Well, they're home to Oregon State, which is they're non-con. Can we talk about this non-con? SMU, Minnesota, Oregon State as power schools. But your group of 5 schools are Troy and Georgia Southern, and then your FCS is Eastern Washington. Hey, athletic director.
Yeah, are you getting more money?
Are you doing?
Are you really gonna get a lot more money for playing Eastern Washington versus I don't know, Western Illinois? Go get yourself a W with the games that you're supposed to get.
Put Dixie State on the fucking schedule.
Yeah.
Put Cal Poly even. Yeah. Eastern Washington makes that a game. You know what I mean? I know stupid. Eastern Washington didn't have the greatest year last year, but they're supposed to be good this year, and they were really good the past 20 years of college football.
Yeah, law of averages. Eastern Washington is going to be a challenge for Nevada, especially a down Nevada.
There's this guy named Cooper Kupp. You might have heard of him. Who's one of the best wideouts in the NFL. There's also I watch the CFL. There's this guy named Vernon Adams, who's probably the best quarterback in the entire CFL. They're all Eastern Washington guys. All right. They're all Eastern Washington guys. So you could get beat. You could be winless if you don't fucking focus on that game. But I got them beating E-Dub, but I got them losing in San Jose. So
yeah, then they probably get rocked by Oregon State, although it's a good time to catch Oregon State.
It is. The Beavs have lost a ton, but I still think they're ahead of Nevada right now, and I favor Oregon State.
Let me ask you this: Oregon State starts with Idaho State. That's probably a win, but then San Diego State, Oregon, Purdue, and Colorado State. Is there a chance that they're on a 4-game losing streak and just down on their luck, and Nevada is in a place to take advantage of that at home?
Very small chance. Because I think like them hiring the DC who was really good at Oregon State. They had top like 20 defenses. He might not have all of the guys from a year ago because they lost their whole fucking team, but like I think he knows what the fuck he's doing. So like,
yeah, even when you lose like that many players, you don't lose the culture necessarily. And so like Cincinnati going 4-8 last year is the example that pops into my mind. They were still within 2 touchdowns of Oklahoma. You might be losing close games after you lose,
but that Satterfield wasn't even affiliated with the program.
But you don't just become terrible.
But this guy was their DC. Like Satterfield wasn't even a part of their program. They went off the reservation to get Satterfield.
Oh, so Oregon State brought their DC.
They hired their DC as the head coach.
Okay, so then there's continuity there
like
too.
I'm thinking like, yeah, I know your starters are all gone. Like literally every starter's gone. Yeah. But I'm like, I still kind of trust that they'll be decent because of
that's huge. Yeah. That is huge to have continuity. Oregon State's gonna slap Nevada around.
So then Fresno State comes to town.
They're gonna slap Nevada.
We got a winnable game here. Halloween, going into Halloween weekend or the weekend after or before Halloween, on the island against Timmy Chang. Timmy Chang's 2-0 against Nevada. We did the Hawaii preview earlier today. Go listen to that. He coached at Nevada. I lean Hawaii, man.
I lean Hawaii too, but I think we're getting to the point where win number 2 might materialize, against the odds. So guess what? I'm giving them a second win here.
Ooh, there we go. Daniel in the chat says, FYI, it looks like Brandon Lewis started the spring game. No, he's our penciled in starter. I think Purdy's just there like for the future, but we had Lewis as the guy because he's started like 50 college football games. that we might be underselling that because I do think there's something about this day and age of college football. You look at the quarterbacks we just saw, with the exception to Milroe, which Alabama shouldn't have been in the playoffs. It should have been Florida State. All of those 4 would be super experienced, but Milroe was kind of the younger one. But Michael Penix was like in his 10th year.
Yeah, I mean, experience.
Outside of that was Bo Nix, and like you had these guys that were just super old. After
26, by the way, no, 27 career games for Brendon Lewis presumably starts. However, in 27 games, 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
On some bad teams too, though, man.
Yeah.
How about this though? So tell me your record by going into November.
Going in November, I'm giving them that second win. I'm gonna give them that second one, but that's being generous. I feel like.
I don't know, man. I will. So November 2nd. They have this passion, this hatred now for Colorado State, which I like.
Yeah, with the
Jay Norvell left for Colorado State, and Chris Ault calling him out.
The lateral move.
All right, I'll say by here they get their second win.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that. Just because, that was me being generous, and maybe it is the Colorado State game at home with the vengeance on the mind.
Yeah,
that gives them the edge there.
And then they're at Boise, loss. Home to Air Force, loss. At UNLV. This is for the Fremont Cannon. Let's talk about this trophy for a second. And it's a damn shame that they have to play this game at Allegiant. This should be at Sam Boyd. Desert against Mountains of Nevada should be a thing. Instead, you do this bullshit corporate NFL game. Yeah. But at the same time, what's that?
This game should absolutely be played against the beautiful backdrop of Nevada.
Yeah, Sam Boyd, which is like, dude, Sam Boyd looks like one end zone you can walk out and be like tripping peyote in like fucking 5 steps out of the fucking end zone. It's perfect. And I can't believe it's one of the biggest. I actually think it's the biggest failure in college football is UNLV playing at Allegiant.
Yeah,
it's not a college football stadium. It's fucking disgusting what they're doing to UNLV, which cool mascot. I know that historically haven't been much, not since Suge Knight was playing D tackle for him. But
well, this is all music to Nevada's ears. So keep going about their
Yeah,
failures.
no, but I mean, what a fucking you destroyed. Sam Boyd is a great stadium. You should be playing at a great stadium. Instead, you're gonna go to this, and even though it's a rivalry game, it's gonna look like you're gonna feel like you're at a fucking shopping mall. All right, you might as well be in Vegas at the Luxor, going between the Luxor to Mandalay Bay or some shit. Where you walk through one of the, like they have that mall that connects between the two. This is bullshit. And then get this, even though it's a rivalry game, no one's going to be at this game. It's a damn shame because guess what? They play for maybe the best trophy in all of college football. The Fremont Cannon Trophy is absolutely the best trophy in college football.
It is gorgeous. I will say this. All of that you just mentioned plays in Nevada's favor. A weak ass home crowd, UNLV. I don't know if they get up for this game. I haven't watched this game closely enough. It doesn't make it onto my TV set on rivalry weekend as probably as much as it should. But
I'm glad it's here. It's not normally on rivalry weekend.
Oh, okay.
This is the first year it's been here for a minute. So
okay.
I'm very
done.
happy that Mount West listened to all those emails I've been sending them. But yes, they're gonna lose this game though. UNLV is way ahead of them right now.
So that's a 13 game slate, and we have them winning 2.
And that's being generous.
Yeah, they did not do themselves any favors scheduling, and they're just in a bad spot. However, do you think Choate?
They could get to 3 though. They could. Let me build you a path.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern, Eastern Washington, Colorado State, or Eastern Washington, San Jose State, Hawaii.
Oh yeah, 3 wins is very possible. Let's not lie. If we're looking back at Choate's history, I don't know where Montana State was before he took over, but like you mentioned, the transition from bad to good happened pretty quickly. 4-7, 5-6, 8-5, 11-4 in his 4 years at Montana State, but still a 4-7 year to start off. And Montana State, I would say, has more resources.
And what year was that though that he came there?
Oh, let me get that pulled up. 2016 is when it was his first year.
Well, 2015 they were 5-6.
Okay, so they actually regressed in his first year.
Yeah.
So that doesn't. But that said, I don't know that they can't really regress from 2-10. I guess they could. I guess they can go 1-12.
And I gotta I gotta correct myself a little bit. Montana State did have some fire years right before him with Rob Ash, but they just weren't as known as Montana was just killing it at one point.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, he got him into pushed him. I guess since 2019, they've been championship. I mean, he got him to the semifinal in his last year there. And then they've been championship. Didn't they go to the championship game within the past couple of years, Montana State?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he built them into a real winner, which is a good thing for Nevada. Even if he doesn't stick around, it sounds like what he builds there tends to last. So I think it's a good hire.
I think it's a good hire too, but we'll see. I just think that schedule is brutal. Yeah. I don't think it's that crazy. You want to talk about they could lose every single game.
Yeah, I mean,
you slip at that Eastern Washington game, you're fucked.
Yeah. 0-13 would not impress the good folks in Nevada. Good folks of Reno.
It's like you get your 2 easiest opponents, San Jose State and Hawaii, in conference, that is, on the road. You don't get New Mexico. Like the teams you want to see on here.
That said, oh no, they do get Boise. Who else? Who else is elite? They get Air Force, so that's tough.
And Fresno, dude, they get fucked. And UNLV, who played in the Mountain West Championship game, and technically San Jose State was tied for that. They're in a bad spot.
Yeah, they're playing a tough schedule.
And yeah, I'm on the under.
I'm on the under too.
Decent about it.
I hate doing that. I hate going over on good teams and under on bad teams, but just if we're being honest, things aren't looking really good right now. So, you just got to trust that he's building something good and hope to see progress over the course of the year. Maybe you eke out a win or two here or there. What's the ceiling, would you say, for this team?
They might be able to get Troy. Okay, let me give you the best case scenario. Troy's bringing in Gerard Parker.
Yeah.
Troy doesn't have a week 0 game. Nevada does, right?
Yeah.
So you work out the kinks. You get your ass whooped by SMU, but you're in a better spot because you've played one game.
Yeah.
You upset Troy at Troy.
Yeah. Possible.
It's possible that they beat Georgia Southern too.
Get them at home. Long trip for Georgia Southern. Yeah.
That could be 2 wins. Eastern Washington, 3rd win. I think San Jose State's going to be, they're kind of in reset mode too. That is a winnable game. 4.
Hawaii
5,
and Colorado
Hawaii,
State.
and then 6. You gotta upset somebody, but they could go. I think ceiling is 5-7 or 6-6.
That would be a hell of a first year for Choate.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would love him.
They got to win that Troy game though, man. They got it. Like that would be.
That would. Let me ask you this: Georgia Southern, Clay Helton still presumably throwing the ball around quite a bit there. Does
doing air raid?
Yeah. Does the residual effect of Ken Wilson's, running the air raid there benefit them against Georgia Southern? Having seen that in practice every day, maybe that looks more likely to be a win.
I was a skeptic on that Clay Helton hire from the start, and
I think he's done all right, but
he's on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat there.
Yeah, it clearly wasn't a home run, but it's
dude. They're used to winning. They fired. I mean, we're doing another podcast here, but I'm saying like they fired their coach like 2 years removed from like a 9-win season. You know what I mean? Like for Clay Helton,
right?
You better do more than 6 and 7 every year.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, I'm on the under. I do think the hire is the right guy. It's a tough Mountain West schedule this year. Next year, maybe you get
because it got to be getting easier.
Yeah, but I feel pretty decent about the under, even though there's 13 games. I don't know that I've ever said that in my life. 13 games, under 2.5.
Yeah, that's true. I am curious. I gotta pull this up real quick. Nevada's future 2025 at Penn State, hosting Sacramento State and hosting Middle Tennessee. That seems like if they improve over the course of this year, there's at least 2 non-conference.
Sac State's good too, but yeah,
Sac State's good.
Yeah. But I'm with you, and I don't know. I mean, I think the hire is the right guy. He's the right guy that can get this thing going.
Just be patient and let him do his thing. And success will happen. Trust the process.
And beat Troy. Beat Troy or Georgia Southern. All right. That will help you out immensely.
And for God's sakes, beat Las Vegas.
And by the way, my point on this with Georgia Southern, Chad Lunsford was fired. He went in 2020, the COVID year, he went 8-5, right?
Yeah.
Since then, then he got fired for going 3-9. Well, actually, he got fired mid-season. What?
And they finished 3-9.
Yeah, and then the next year, Clay Helton 6-7. The next year, Clay Helton 6-7. I'm sorry, the guy had one down year. You look at Lunsford like the years before. Like I said, 2020, he's 8-5. Oh, 2019, he's 7-6. Guess what? Both are better than Clay Helton. Oh, let's go to 2018. 10-3. They're absurd. Anyway, please beat Georgia Southern. They deserve that loss. Let's go Wolfpack. I'm on the under. Patty C's on the under. Check out the college football experience as we break down all these teams. YouTube.com. I almost said Yoo-hoo. YouTube.com/the college experience. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you jump over and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Check out all of our other podcasts too. If you're worried, if you're worried about Eastern Washington, or maybe you're an EW fan, FCS College Football Experience is there for you. Also, we had the Stadium Heads podcast. Myself, Michael Barker, talking why college football is the greatest thing ever, why college football stadiums are the greatest thing ever, and why it's so great that you can go catch a Nevada Wolfpack game and be in the same spot that Charles Mann and Keenan McCardle, who I know was at UNLV, but I'm saying the history stays there. There's something about that. It's got soul. All right. Unlike, their new UNLV trash stadium they got. So yeah, check out the Stadium Heads podcast. Also check out the college basketball experience. Steve Alford, great year last year in Nevada. So check that out. College baseball experience also in Texas A&M cashed out tonight. We're good. Check that out. And check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. All right. Until next time, folks. This is the college football experience, Wolfpack style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can